The 1960s was a decade characterized by bold designs and extravagant styling. Automakers embraced chrome as a way to showcase their vehicle's grandeur, often prioritizing appearance over performance and practicality. While some cars became legends, others were little more than shiny disappointments that failed to deliver on their promises. This chapter explores 10 of the most lackluster cars of the 1960s that were more chrome than substance, leaving buyers wondering what went wrong.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
Number 10. The 1960 Chrysler Windsor was a full-size sedan positioned as an entry-level offering in Chrysler's lineup. It embodied the brand's shift toward bigger, flashier cars while cutting costs in ways that disappointed many buyers. As Chrysler's mid-century designs became more dramatic and excessive, the Windsor's blend of size and mediocrity left it overshadowed by competitors and its more upscale siblings. While the Windsor shared the forward-look design language introduced by Chrysler in the late 1950s, it also represented the brand's struggles to balance luxury, affordability, and performance. The result was a car that felt neither innovative nor refined, especially in an era when automakers were doubling down on style and engineering. At 215.8 inches long and weighing over 4,000 pounds, the Windsor was a hulking vehicle that offered plenty of interior space but little in the way of performance or driving excitement. The bulky dimensions made it cumbersome to drive, with slow handling that highlighted its size rather than its comfort. The Windsor came standard with a 383 cubic inch V8 engine, producing 305 horsepower. While respectable on paper, it struggled to move the car's hefty frame with any sense of urgency. Chrysler's TorqueFlite automatic transmission was smooth, but did little to improve the Windsor's sluggish acceleration or lack of agility. Gas mileage was abysmal, with the large V8 guzzling fuel in exchange for mediocre performance. To keep costs down, the Windsor used cheaper materials and less advanced engineering compared to Chrysler's upscale New Yorker or Imperial models. The suspension system, while comfortable on smooth roads, struggled with uneven surfaces, leaving the Windsor feeling less composed than its rivals. Full-size offerings from Chevrolet, Ford, and even Chrysler's own Dodge lineup provided more value for the money. The Windsor felt like an uninspired choice in a segment filled with better alternatives. The 1960 Windsor was part of Chrysler's forward-look era, which emphasized futuristic styling and an abundance of chrome. However, the excessive use of chrome only highlighted the car's uninspired design. The enormous front grille dominated the car's face, but it lacked the cohesive styling seen on rivals like the Cadillac Series 62. Instead, it felt oversized and overly busy. Chrome trim ran along the sides of the car, breaking up its slab-sided design, but failing to add any real elegance. The tail fins, though less exaggerated than earlier Chrysler models, felt tacked on rather than integrated into the design. Chrome bezels around the taillights added weight to an already awkward rear end. While flashy, the chrome accents couldn't disguise the Windsor's bland overall appearance, making it feel more like a desperate attempt to grab attention than a true luxury offering. The Windsor offered a spacious cabin with seating for 6 adults. The wide bench seats and generous legroom made it comfortable for long trips, provided you didn't mind the dull driving experience. On smooth roads, the Windsor's soft suspension provided a comfortable ride. It was well suited for highway cruising, where its bulk felt more stable. Despite its shortcomings, the Windsor's 383 V8 and TorqueFlite transmission were reliable, and the car could handle high mileage with proper maintenance. The Windsor's heavy frame sapped much of the power from its V8 engine, leaving it feeling underpowered compared to competitors. While Chrysler was known for engineering innovations like unibody construction and advanced transmissions, the Windsor didn't showcase anything groundbreaking. The 1960 Windsor's styling felt like a watered-down version of Chrysler's more luxurious models, with none of the distinctiveness or flair needed to stand out. The 1960 Chrysler Windsor is remembered as a car that aimed for the middle of the market and fell short. While it wasn't outright bad, it was a forgettable entry in a crowded segment, overshadowed by both its rivals and Chrysler's own higher-end models. Today, the Windsor is rarely sought after by collectors, as its uninspired design and mediocre performance offer little to distinguish it from other full-size cars of the era. The 1960 Chrysler Windsor represents a time when bigger was mistakenly equated with better. Despite its flashy chrome accents and massive grille, the Windsor failed to deliver the luxury, performance, or innovation expected from Chrysler. It's a car that relied on its size and style to sell, but ultimately couldn't hide its underwhelming engineering and lack of excitement. For buyers in 1960, the Windsor may have seemed like a reasonable choice, but history has proven it to be a bloated, forgettable sedan from an era of excess. Number 9. The 1961 DeSoto Adventurer marked the end of the once proud DeSoto brand, a division of Chrysler that had thrived in earlier decades. The Adventurer, introduced in 1956 as a halo performance car, had become a shadow of its former self by its final year. With dwindling sales, an uninspired design, and a lack of innovation, the 1961 Adventurer was a lackluster farewell to a brand that had lost its identity and direction. The 1961 Adventurer lacked the boldness and creativity of its earlier models. The sleek and distinctive lines of the late 1950s were replaced with a boxy, uninspired design that looked outdated even at the time. By 1961, competitors like Cadillac, Lincoln, and Buick had embraced more modern, forward-looking designs, making the Adventurer seem out of step with the era. The lack of any unique styling features left it struggling to stand out in a crowded luxury market. DeSoto had long been positioned between Chrysler and Dodge, but by the early 1960s, this niche had become redundant. The Adventurer felt like a watered-down Chrysler rather than a distinct luxury offering. Many potential buyers chose the more prestigious Chrysler New Yorker or the value-oriented Dodge Polara over the Adventurer. DeSoto's sales had been declining for years, and Chrysler Corporation put little effort into reviving the brand. The 1961 Adventurer reflected this lack of investment, feeling more like an obligation than a true contender in the luxury car market. The Adventurer was powered by a 361 cubic inch V8 engine, producing 265 horsepower. While adequate, this was a far cry from the high-performance image the Adventurer had once cultivated. Despite its name, the Adventurer was not adventurous to drive. The heavy chassis and soft suspension prioritized comfort over performance, resulting in sluggish handling and a disconnected driving experience. With Chrysler discontinuing the DeSoto brand entirely by late 1960, the 1961 Adventurer was essentially a lame duck model. Buyers knew the brand was on its way out, further diminishing its appeal. The 1961 Adventurer leaned heavily on chrome trim to convey a sense of luxury, but it only highlighted its outdated design. The grille was adorned with horizontal chrome bars, giving it a heavy, cluttered appearance that lacked the elegance of its competitors. Chrome accents ran the length of the car, but failed to add any sense of sophistication or dynamism. The taillights were surrounded by chrome bezels, and the rear bumper was large and shiny, but it all felt excessive and tacked on. In an era when chrome was starting to be used more sparingly and tastefully, the Adventurer's heavy reliance on shiny trim felt out of touch. The Adventurer's cabin was spacious and comfortable, with wide bench seats upholstered in premium materials. It offered features like a push button, torque flight, automatic transmission, and power accessories, adding convenience and a touch of modernity. The car's suspension system was tuned for a soft, cushioned ride, making it well-suited for highway cruising. Styling, the Adventurer's dull, boxy design was uninspired and failed to capture the imagination of buyers. The V8 engine was adequate, but lacked the excitement and power that earlier Adventurer models had delivered. With the DeSoto brand on the verge of extinction, the Adventurer felt like a relic of the past rather than a car for the future. The 1961 DeSoto Adventurer is remembered more as a historical footnote than as a standout car. As the final model from a dying brand, it symbolizes Chrysler's struggles to keep DeSoto relevant in a changing automotive landscape. While it wasn't outright terrible, it lacked the innovation, style, and performance needed to compete with its rivals. Today, the 1961 Adventurer is a rare sight, primarily of interest to collectors who appreciate its place in automotive history. However, it's not celebrated for its design or engineering, but rather for being the swan song of a once proud marque. The 1961 DeSoto Adventurer was an unfortunate end to a brand that had shown so much promise in its early years. Its dull design, mediocre performance, and reliance on chrome to convey luxury couldn't mask the fact that it was an outdated and uninspired car. As DeSoto exited the market, the Adventurer faded into obscurity, a disappointing conclusion to a brand that had once been an innovator. Number 8. The 1962 Ford Fairlane 500 marked the introduction of Ford's intermediate-sized lineup, designed to bridge the gap between the compact Falcon and the full-size Galaxy. Unfortunately, it struggled to define its place in the market, offering little to distinguish itself from its stablemates. While it was intended to combine the best of both worlds, affordability, space, and practicality, it ended up being an uninspired and middling car that failed to resonate with buyers. Positioned between two established and successful models, the Fairlane 500 felt like a compromise rather than a distinct offering. It was too large to appeal to compact car buyers and too small to compete with full-size sedans, leaving it in an awkward no-man's land. The base engine was a modest 170 cubic inch inline, 6 producing just 101 horsepower, which felt woefully inadequate for a car of its size. Optional V8 engines, including the 221 cubic inch, 145 horsepower, and 260 cubic inch, 160 horsepower variants, offered better performance but still lagged behind competitors in terms of power and refinement. Despite being lighter than the full-size Galaxy, the Fairlane 500 didn't deliver a sporty or engaging driving experience. The Fairlane 500's styling was conservative and bland, lacking the visual flair that Ford had successfully implemented in its other models. While it aimed to offer a touch of elegance with additional chrome trim, the overall design felt dated and uninspired compared to competitors like the Chevrolet Chevy 2 and the Plymouth Valiant. Interior materials were basic, and fit and finish issues were common. Buyers looking for a touch of luxury or refinement were left disappointed, especially when comparing the Fairlane 500 to similarly priced models from other brands. Despite its mid-range positioning, the Fairlane 500 was saddled with an abundance of chrome trim. The grille featured horizontal chrome bars with a large emblem, but the overall effect was more clunky than elegant. Chrome strips ran along the sides of the car, breaking up its already bland body lines, but adding nothing to the overall appeal. The rear bumper was oversized and heavily chromed, drawing unnecessary attention to an otherwise uninspired design. The heavy use of shiny trim felt like an attempt to make the car look upscale, but it clashed with its otherwise modest design, creating an unbalanced and overly busy appearance. The Fairlane 500 offered a balance of interior space and exterior dimensions that appealed to some buyers who found full-size cars too large and compacts too cramped. It was relatively easy to park and maneuver compared to larger sedans. While not particularly powerful, the introduction of the 221 cubic inch Challenger V8 engine made the Fairlane 500 one of the first intermediate cars to offer V8 power, a trend that would become more significant later in the decade. Positioned as an affordable option between the Falcon and Galaxy, the Fairlane 500 offered a lower price point for families who wanted a bit more space than a compact car without the cost of a full-size sedan. The Fairlane 500's bland and boxy design failed to excite buyers, and the excessive chrome only made it look gaudy. Even with the optional V8 engines, the car felt sluggish and uninspiring to drive. The Fairlane 500 lacked a clear purpose, trying to be everything to everyone and succeeding at very little. Competitors like the Chevrolet Chevy 2 and Dodge Dart offered more compelling packages in terms of style, performance, and value. The 1962 Fairlane 500 is remembered as an awkward first step into the intermediate car segment for Ford. While the Fairlane name would go on to enjoy more success later in the 1960s, the initial model struggled to make a strong impression. It was neither a failure nor a standout, leaving it largely forgotten in the annals of automotive history. Collectors today rarely seek out the 1962 Fairlane 500, as its unremarkable design and middling performance failed to generate much enthusiasm. It remains a reminder of the challenges automakers faced when experimenting with new market segments, as well as the importance of creating vehicles with clear identities and strong appeal. The 1962 Ford Fairlane 500 was a car with potential that ultimately fell short of its ambitions. Its awkward positioning, underwhelming performance, and uninspired design made it a forgettable entry in Ford's lineup. While it offered practicality and affordability, these traits were not enough to compensate for its lack of personality or innovation. The Fairlane 500 serves as an example of a car that tried to do too much and ended up excelling at nothing. Number 7. The Buick Wildcat was introduced as a sportier and more luxurious alternative within Buick's full-size lineup, aimed at younger buyers who wanted performance with comfort. However, the 1963 Buick Wildcat didn't quite live up to its ambitions. Despite its powerful engines, the car was hampered by poor handling, excessive weight, and uninspired styling. Buick's attempt to blend sportiness with luxury resulted in a car that didn't excel in either category, leaving it overshadowed by competitors. The Wildcat's suspension setup prioritized comfort over sportiness, resulting in a soft, floaty ride that didn't inspire confidence on winding roads. Steering was vague and lacked precision, making the car feel unwieldy despite its sporty pretensions. The car's bulk, nearly 4,200 pounds, further undermined its performance and handling, as the weight overwhelmed the chassis in tight corners. Buick equipped the Wildcat with powerful engines, including the standard 401 cubic inch Nailhead V8, producing 325 horsepower, and an optional 425 cubic inch V8 generating 340 horsepower. Despite these robust powertrains, the Wildcat's performance didn't match its sporty aspirations due to its weight and lackluster handling dynamics. Acceleration was respectable in a straight line, but the overall driving experience felt clumsy and uninspiring. The 1963 Wildcat shared much of its design with the larger Buick Electra, making it look more like a trimmed-down luxury sedan than a unique sporty offering. While it wasn't unattractive, the styling was overly conservative, especially compared to bold competitors like the Pontiac Grand Prix and Chevrolet Impala SS. The Wildcat struggled to define itself within Buick's lineup. It was too luxurious to appeal to performance enthusiasts and too sporty for traditional Buick customers who prioritize comfort and refinement. Buyers looking for either a pure luxury experience or a true performance car were left underwhelmed. The 1963 Buick Wildcat was drenched in chrome accents, which gave it a flashy, upscale appearance. However, the excessive use of shiny trim felt more like a distraction than a cohesive design choice. The front grille featured horizontal chrome bars, flanked by oversized chromed headlight bezels that dominated the front fascia. A prominent chrome spear ran along the car's sides, adding unnecessary visual weight to an already hefty design. The rear bumper was massive and heavily chromed, making the car look even bulkier than it was. The chrome accents made the Wildcat appear upscale, but clashed with its sporty ambitions, contributing to its lack of a clear identity. The Nailhead V8 engines were a highlight of the Wildcat, delivering ample power and torque. With optional upgrades, the Wildcat could reach impressive speeds for its size, making it a competent cruiser on the highway. The interior was well appointed, featuring comfortable seating, quality materials, and upscale touches like a padded dashboard and optional bucket seats. Buick included a range of convenience features such as power windows, air conditioning, and a modern sound system, making it a comfortable ride for long trips. The full-size platform provided ample interior space, making the Wildcat a practical option for families or buyers seeking a roomy personal luxury car. The car's suspension and steering failed to deliver the sportiness promised by its name and marketing. The Wildcat's design was too conservative, lacking the boldness or distinction needed to compete in the emerging personal luxury and performance segments. The car's excessive weight negated much of the performance potential of its powerful V8 engines. The Wildcat didn't carve out a clear niche, falling between sporty and luxurious without excelling at either. The Wildcat faced stiff competition in the sporty luxury segment, including the Grand Prix offered sharper handling, bolder styling, and a more focused performance-oriented package. The Impala SS was more affordable and better aligned with the growing muscle car movement. The Galaxy 500/XL combined attractive styling with solid performance and a better balanced chassis. These rivals left the Wildcat struggling to stand out, as they offered more compelling blends of performance, style, and value. The 1963 Wildcat represents a missed opportunity for Buick. While it introduced some features and ideas that would evolve in later models, it failed to establish itself as a truly competitive, sporty luxury car. Collectors and enthusiasts today often overlook the 1963 Wildcat in favor of more distinctive and memorable cars from the era. Though Buick refined the Wildcat in subsequent years, the 1963 model remains a reminder of the brand's struggle to balance luxury and performance in a way that resonated with buyers. It's a classic example of how excessive chrome and powerful engines can't compensate for uninspired design and lackluster handling. Number 6. The 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe, Chrysler's flagship luxury car, attempted to compete with Cadillac and Lincoln by emphasizing opulence and presence. Unfortunately, its over-the-top styling, excessive size, and sluggish driving dynamics made it less desirable compared to its rivals. The Imperial Crown Coupe's bold, chrome-laden design made a visual statement but failed to deliver the refinement or performance needed to make it a true competitor in the luxury market. While Chrysler tried to distinguish the Imperial from its competitors, the 1965 model went too far with its styling. The massive grille, overabundance of chrome, and odd proportions made the car look gaudy rather than elegant. The freestanding headlamps, a trademark feature of the Imperial, gave it a distinctive but polarizing appearance, often seen as outdated by buyers of the time. Powered by Chrysler's 413 cubic inch V8 engine, the Imperial produced 340 horsepower. However, the car's immense weight, nearly 5,000 pounds, muted its performance. Acceleration was slow, and the car struggled to feel responsive, especially in urban driving or on winding roads. The soft suspension provided a smooth ride but sacrificed handling, making the car feel unwieldy on curves and at high speeds. The Imperial was one of the largest luxury cars of its time, measuring over 227 inches long. Its sheer size made it difficult to maneuver in tight spaces, and parking was a challenge. The added bulk also contributed to its poor fuel economy, further discouraging potential buyers. Despite its luxurious aspirations, the 1965 Imperial didn't offer many features or advancements that set it apart from Cadillac or Lincoln. Buyers looking for cutting-edge technology or engineering often found more appealing options in competing brands. The 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe leaned heavily on chrome accents to convey a sense of luxury, but the execution felt excessive. The enormous, intricate grille dominated the front end, giving the car a heavy, imposing look rather than a refined one. The car's length was accentuated by thick chrome strips running along its sides, which only added visual bulk. The rear featured large chrome-covered taillight housings and an ornate bumper, which clashed with the rest of the design and made the car look even heavier. The chrome accents tried to create an upscale image, but ended up emphasizing the car's size and lack of elegance. The interior of the 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe was spacious and featured high-quality materials like leather and wood trim. The seats were wide and plush, offering excellent comfort for long-distance cruising. Chrysler included luxury features like air conditioning, power windows, and a sophisticated sound system, ensuring the car delivered on amenities. The car's suspension absorbed road imperfections with ease, making it a comfortable choice for highway driving. For buyers prioritizing comfort over performance, the Imperial offered a serene and isolated driving experience. The Imperial was positioned as Chrysler's top-tier luxury car and was built in limited numbers, giving it an air of exclusivity compared to more common Cadillacs and Lincolns. The Imperial's weight and soft suspension undermined its handling, making it feel sluggish and cumbersome. The excessive use of chrome and polarizing design choices alienated buyers seeking a more understated luxury car. Cadillac and Lincoln offered better rounded packages with similar features, superior performance, and more restrained styling. The Imperial's V8 engine was a gas guzzler, further limiting its appeal during a time when efficiency was becoming more important to buyers. The 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe faced tough competition from more refined and desirable rivals. 1965 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. The Coupe de Ville offered elegant styling, a powerful V8 engine, and a smoother driving experience, making it a benchmark in the luxury market. 1965 Lincoln Continental Coupe. The Lincoln Continental was known for its timeless design and impressive build quality, which helped it attract buyers who valued understated elegance. 1965 Buick Electra 225. Positioned as a more affordable luxury car, the Electra 225 offered many of the same features as the Imperial in a more balanced and accessible package. These competitors overshadowed the Imperial by offering superior refinement, performance, and value. The 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe represents Chrysler's struggle to compete in the luxury market dominated by Cadillac and Lincoln. While it delivered on comfort and amenities, its excessive styling, poor handling, and cumbersome size left it at a disadvantage. Today, the 1965 Imperial is often viewed as a relic of an era when bigger was assumed to be better, but it lacks the timeless appeal of its rivals. Collectors and enthusiasts may appreciate the 1965 Imperial Crown Coupe for its uniqueness and over-the-top design, but its shortcomings ensure that it remains a niche interest rather than a standout classic. Number 5. The 1966 AMC Rogue was AMC's answer to the growing market for sporty compact cars. Marketed as a stylish and more performance-oriented version of the Rambler American, the Rogue attempted to combine economy with a hint of flair. However, it failed to stand out in a competitive field dominated by offerings from the big three automakers. Despite its intentions, the Rogue suffered from uninspired styling, limited performance, and a lack of excitement, making it more of an afterthought in the compact car segment. While AMC tried to position the Rogue as a sporty option, its engine offerings didn't deliver the punch buyers expected. The base model came with a lackluster 199 cubic inch inline-six engine producing 128 horsepower, which was insufficient for a car marketed as sporty. Buyers could opt for the 232 cubic inch inline-six or the 290 cubic inch V8. But even the latter delivered modest power compared to V8 engines in rivals like the Ford Mustang or Chevrolet Chevelle. Handling was adequate for a compact, but it lacked the sharpness and fun factor of its competitors. The Rogue's design was essentially a slightly upgraded Rambler American, with minimal effort put into making it stand out. It featured a clean but overly conservative look, which didn't resonate with buyers looking for a bold and youthful design. The proportions were boxy, and the styling lacked the flair of competitors like the Mustang or Plymouth Barracuda. While it was priced competitively, the Rogue's standard equipment was sparse, and most desirable features were available only as options. Compared to rivals that offered more standard features and better customization options, the Rogue felt outdated and under-equipped. AMC tried to give the Rogue a sense of upscale sportiness by adding chrome accents, but the execution was unremarkable. The front grille featured modest chrome trim that failed to give the car a striking presence. Thin chrome strips ran along the sides, attempting to add elegance but doing little to enhance the overall design. Chrome-accented wheel covers were available, but didn't contribute much to the car's appeal. The chrome detailing was subtle and restrained, which might have worked for a luxury car, but didn't align with the sporty image AMC was trying to project. The Rogue was priced to appeal to budget-conscious buyers, offering a more affordable alternative to the popular sporty compacts of the time. For buyers seeking basic transportation with a hint of style, it presented decent value. The availability of a 290 cubic inch V8 engine, though not particularly powerful, was a step in the right direction for AMC's compact lineup. This engine gave the Rogue a performance edge over basic six-cylinder compacts, even if it couldn't match the power of larger muscle cars. The Rogue's small size and lightweight made it maneuverable and relatively easy to park, which was a plus for urban drivers. The Rogue struggled to establish its identity as a sporty compact, coming across as a slightly dressed-up economy car rather than a true competitor to sportier models. Even with the optional V8 engine, the Rogue couldn't match the performance of rivals like the Ford Mustang or Chevrolet Corvair Monza. The conservative design lacked the excitement and innovation buyers expected from sporty models. Market competition. The compact car market in the mid-1960s was crowded, and the Rogue didn't offer anything unique enough to stand out. The 1966 AMC Rogue faced stiff competition from more compelling compact and sporty models. The Mustang defined the sporty compact segment with its iconic styling, powerful engine options, and wide range of customization. The Corvair Monza offered unique rear-engine dynamics and sharp styling, making it a standout in the compact market. With its distinctive fastback design and available V8 power, the Barracuda was far more eye-catching and exciting than the Rogue. These models offered better performance, more exciting styling, and stronger brand recognition, leaving the Rogue in their shadow. The Rogue is remembered as an earnest but underwhelming attempt by AMC to enter the sporty compact market. While it offered affordability and modest performance, it couldn't compete with the style, innovation, and excitement of its rivals. Today, the 1966 AMC Rogue is a relatively obscure model, occasionally appreciated by AMC enthusiasts for its rarity, and as a reminder of the company's efforts to remain competitive during a challenging era. However, it remains a footnote in the history of 1960s compact cars, overshadowed by more iconic and successful models. The 1966 AMC Rogue promised sporty performance and style, but delivered neither in a market that demanded both. Its restrained design, mediocre performance, and lack of innovation made it an unremarkable entry in the compact segment. While it had some redeeming qualities, such as affordability and V8 availability, the Rogue failed to leave a lasting impression. Number 4. The 1967 Plymouth Belvedere II was part of the Belvedere lineup, which sat in the middle of Plymouth's offerings between the economy Valiant and the upscale Fury. While the Belvedere II was meant to strike a balance between affordability and features, it ended up feeling uninspired, blending into the crowded market of mid-size sedans and coupes without offering anything unique. This lack of identity, combined with outdated design choices, made it one of the more forgettable entries in Plymouth's otherwise strong history. The Belvedere II sat between the base Belvedere and the higher performance Satellite, but it didn't excel in either direction. It lacked the budget-friendly appeal of the base model and couldn't match the sportiness or features of the Satellite. This left it feeling like a placeholder rather than a purposeful vehicle in Plymouth's lineup. The Belvedere II's styling was conservative to the point of being bland, with plain body lines and a boxy shape that felt out of step with the more modern and aggressive designs of competitors. While Plymouth updated the front grille and taillights for 1967, the changes were minimal and did little to make the car more visually appealing. The standard engine was a 225 cubic inch slant 6, producing only 145 horsepower, which was adequate for daily driving but uninspiring. Optional V8s, such as the 273 cubic inch and 318 cubic inch engines, offered better performance, but they weren't enough to transform the Belvedere II into a thrilling car. The heavier body and lack of refined suspension tuning further detracted from the driving experience, making it feel sluggish and disconnected compared to rivals. The Belvedere II didn't offer any innovative features or styling elements that could help it stand out in a competitive market. It was a basic car at a time when buyers were increasingly demanding more personality and flair, especially in the midsize segment. The Belvedere II's chrome usage tried to elevate its status, but ultimately emphasized its lack of modernity. A wide grille with heavy chrome framing dominated the front fascia, but it looked more like a throwback to earlier designs than a fresh update. Chrome strips ran along the sides, attempting to add sophistication, but instead highlighting the car's plain, boxy body. Chrome accents around the taillights and bumper added flash, but didn't integrate well with the car's overall design. Instead of enhancing the car, the chrome accents made it look outdated, particularly when compared to competitors with more integrated and contemporary styling. The Belvedere II was reasonably priced for a mid-size car, making it accessible to a wide range of buyers. It provided decent value for families looking for a practical, no-frills vehicle. Available in multiple body styles, including a 2-door hardtop, 4-door sedan, and station wagon, the Belvedere 2 offered versatility to suit different needs. Buyers could also choose from a range of engines, from economical 6-cylinders to more powerful V8s, allowing for some degree of customization. Like many Plymouth models of the era, the Belvedere 2 was mechanically straightforward and reliable, making it a practical choice for everyday use. The Belvedere 2 didn't stand out as sporty, luxurious, or economical, leaving it overshadowed by both its Plymouth siblings and competitors. The conservative design failed to capture attention or excitement, especially as automotive design was becoming more adventurous in the late 1960s. While optional V8s were available, they didn't offer enough power or refinement to compete with muscle cars or sportier midsize options. Plymouth could have leveraged the Belvedere 2 as a more distinct offering, but instead it felt like an afterthought. The midsize market in the late 1960s was highly competitive, and the Belvedere 2 struggled against more appealing rivals. With aggressive styling, powerful engine options, and a strong performance reputation, the Chevelle was a clear leader in the segment. The Fairlane offered similar versatility, but had more modern styling and better engineered performance options, including a 390 cubic inch V8. Pontiac's midsize entry offered sharper styling, better handling, and more upscale features, making it a more attractive choice. These models offered stronger performance, more exciting designs, and better defined identities, leaving the Belvedere 2 in the shadows. The Belvedere 2 is remembered as a workhorse rather than a showstopper. It served its purpose as a dependable and affordable midsize car, but lacked the innovation and flair needed to make a lasting impact. Today, the 1967 Belvedere 2 is mostly sought after by Mopar enthusiasts, often as a platform for customization or restoration. It's rarely celebrated for its original qualities, but its connection to Plymouth's broader history gives it some nostalgic value. The 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 was a functional but uninspired entry in the midsize segment. Number 3, the Pontiac Catalina, positioned as Pontiac's affordable full-size car, was an important volume seller in the brand's lineup. By 1969, it was part of the 5th generation, which shared a platform with other GM full-size vehicles, including the Chevrolet Impala and Oldsmobile Delta 88. Despite its sales success, the Catalina's bland design and uninspiring performance prevented it from achieving the same appeal as Pontiac's sportier or more luxurious models. The 1969 Catalina featured a generic full-size design that failed to differentiate itself within Pontiac's lineup or from other GM full-size cars. While Pontiac's wide-track design philosophy added some visual width and road presence, it wasn't enough to make the Catalina exciting. The long, flat body panels and slab-sided profile lacked character, giving the car a utilitarian appearance rather than a premium or sporty one. The base engine was a 400 cubic inch V8 producing 265 horsepower, which was adequate but far from thrilling in such a large, heavy car. Optional engines, including the 428 cubic inch V8, delivered more power but still couldn't overcome the Catalina's heavy curb weight and uninspired handling. Its suspension setup prioritized comfort over agility, resulting in a ride that felt disconnected and less engaging than other Pontiac models, such as the GTO or Firebird. The Catalina was positioned below the Bonneville and Grand Prix in Pontiac's full-size lineup, but didn't offer much to distinguish itself. Buyers looking for luxury opted for the Bonneville, while those seeking performance turned to the Sportier, Grand Prix, or intermediate-sized GTO. The Catalina felt like a compromise car that lacked a clear identity or purpose, leaving it overshadowed by its more focused siblings. In 1969, the full-size segment was highly competitive, with rivals like the Chevrolet Impala, Ford Galaxy, and Plymouth Fury offering more compelling packages. The Catalina struggled to stand out in this crowded field, especially as Pontiac's reputation was more closely tied to muscle cars and sporty offerings than to its full-size lineup. The 1969 Catalina leaned heavily on chrome to create an upscale appearance, but the execution felt uninspired. The split grille, a Pontiac hallmark, featured heavy chrome surrounds that were meant to emphasize the car's width, but ended up looking plain compared to Pontiac's more aggressive front ends on other models. Chrome accents along the body tried to add visual interest, but instead highlighted the car's plain, slab-sided design. The chrome-trimmed taillights and bumper were in line with the era's design trends, but didn't stand out among competitors with more distinctive rear ends. While the chrome detailing gave the Catalina a premium sheen, it couldn't compensate for the car's overall lack of design flair. The Catalina was one of the most affordable full-size cars in Pontiac's lineup, making it an attractive option for buyers who wanted a big car on a budget. Its lower price point allowed it to compete effectively against entry-level full-size models from other brands. As a full-size car, the Catalina offered plenty of interior space, with a roomy cabin and a large trunk that made it practical for families and long trips. Buyers could choose from a variety of body styles, including a two-door hardtop, four-door sedan, convertible, and station wagon, allowing the Catalina to cater to a wide range of needs. A range of optional features and engine upgrades allowed for some degree of personalization. Like most GM vehicles of the era, the Catalina's engines and drivetrain were dependable and easy to maintain, contributing to its appeal as a practical, no-nonsense car. The Catalina lacked the bold styling or aggressive stance that defined Pontiac's image during the 1960s. Despite its wide-track marketing, the Catalina didn't deliver the sharp handling or road feel that buyers might have expected from a Pontiac. It failed to capture the luxury buyers of the Bonneville or the performance enthusiasts of the Grand Prix, leaving it without a clear target audience. Rivals like the Chevrolet Impala and Ford Galaxy offered better value or more appealing designs, further diminishing the Catalina's impact. The 1969 Catalina faced stiff competition from other full-size cars, many of which offered better styling, performance, or value. While the Catalina sold well during its time, it is rarely remembered as a standout model in Pontiac's history. It lacked the excitement and innovation that defined many of the brand's other offerings, leaving it as a competent but forgettable entry in the full-size market. Today, the 1969 Catalina is mostly appreciated by classic car enthusiasts who value its simplicity and affordability as an entry point into the world of vintage Pontiacs. However, it remains overshadowed by more iconic Pontiac models, such as the GTO and Firebird. Number 2. The 1961 Lincoln Continental sedan redefined American luxury design, ushering in a sleek, minimalist aesthetic that became an icon of the early 1960s. It marked a drastic departure from the oversized, flamboyant cars of the 1950s, with clean lines, understated chrome, and a revolutionary suicide door configuration. However, while it set new benchmarks for style, the early production models were plagued by significant mechanical and reliability issues, which tarnished its legacy. The first models of the fourth-generation Lincoln Continental suffered from reliability problems due to rushed production schedules and quality control issues. Early adopters reported frequent engine overheating, oil leaks, and electrical malfunctions, which undermined the sedan's reputation as a flagship luxury vehicle. The power-operated features, such as the windows and seats, were prone to failure, frustrating owners who expected cutting-edge technology. The Continental was significantly heavier than its competitors, tipping the scales at over 5,000 pounds. The standard 430 cubic inch V8 engine produced 300 horsepower, but it struggled to provide the smooth, effortless performance expected in a luxury car due to the weight. Fuel economy was abysmal, even by 1960s standards, making it expensive to operate. The 1961 Continental was developed in just 18 months, which was unusually fast for a car of its complexity. This haste resulted in teething problems with reliability and durability. The unibody construction, while innovative for a car of its size, contributed to structural issues, including flexing and creaking in the chassis. Unlike many of its contemporaries, which overloaded their designs with chrome, the 1961 Continental used chrome sparingly and tastefully. The simple rectangular grille was bordered with chrome, giving the car a stately appearance without being gaudy. Thin chrome strips ran along the car's sides, accentuating its low horizontal profile. The chrome bumpers were integrated seamlessly into the design, enhancing the clean and modern aesthetic. The restrained use of chrome emphasized sophistication over flash, setting the Continental apart from the more ostentatious Cadillacs and Chryslers of the era. While the chrome accents were elegant, they couldn't distract from the car's underlying mechanical shortcomings. The 1961 Continental is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful American cars ever made. Its clean lines and minimalist aesthetic influenced automotive design for decades. The rear-hinged suicide doors not only became a hallmark of the 1950s model, but also made entering and exiting the rear seats more convenient and luxurious. The Continental came with a wealth of standard features, including air conditioning, leather upholstery, and a push-button AM radio, which reinforced its image as a high-end luxury car. Its attention to detail, such as the soft close mechanisms for the trunk and doors, showcased its premium craftsmanship. The unibody construction offered better crash protection compared to body-on-frame designs. Rear-hinged doors were equipped with locking mechanisms to prevent them from accidentally opening while driving. At 212.4 inches long, the 1961 Continental was shorter than its predecessors and many of its rivals, making it easier to maneuver while maintaining a commanding presence. This shift to a smaller, more modern footprint set a new standard for American luxury cars, which had traditionally favored excess. The frequent mechanical and electrical issues in the early models frustrated buyers and hurt the car's reputation. With poor fuel economy and costly maintenance, the Continental was an expensive car to own. While smooth, the engine lacked the power to deliver truly effortless acceleration, especially given the car's significant weight. The compressed development timeline left little room for refinement, resulting in early build quality issues. The 1961 Lincoln Continental faced stiff competition from other luxury cars that offered comparable comfort and performance without the same mechanical troubles. Cadillac's flagship offered a smoother ride and more reliable powertrains, making it a favorite among luxury buyers. The Imperial was larger and more powerful, appealing to buyers who still preferred the excess of the 1950s. The Electra combined reliability with upscale features, providing a solid alternative in the premium market. Despite its initial flaws, the 1961 Lincoln Continental became an enduring symbol of mid-century American luxury and design. Its minimalist aesthetic, innovative features, and historical significance, it was the car used by President John F. Kennedy, secured its place in automotive history. Today, the 1961 Continental is celebrated as a classic car, with its early reliability issues largely forgotten or forgiven. Restored examples are highly sought after by collectors who appreciate its timeless design and unique features. Number 1. The 1962 Studebaker Hawk GT was an ambitious attempt to position the company within the sporty coupe market. With its sleek profile and distinctive design elements, it aimed to attract buyers looking for a stylish alternative to the mainstream offerings of the era. However, by the time the Hawk GT rolled into showrooms, its design had begun to feel outdated, and the quality control issues that plagued Studebaker's manufacturing process tarnished its reputation. The Hawk GT's design, first introduced in 1956, began to show its age by 1962. Although it featured a unique shape and design cues like the quad headlights and pronounced fenders, it lacked the modern flair that competitors were adopting, making it seem stale against newer models. The car's profile, which once turned heads, failed to excite consumers who were drawn to more contemporary designs from rivals like Ford and Chevrolet. Throughout its production, the Hawk GT suffered from significant quality control problems that affected reliability and customer satisfaction. Issues ranged from fit and finish problems, such as misaligned panels and inconsistent paint quality, to mechanical issues that could leave owners stranded. These reliability concerns detracted from the car's appeal, leading many potential buyers to shy away from the brand entirely. While the Hawk GT was equipped with a 289 cubic inch V8 engine, producing up to 240 horsepower, it couldn't keep up with the performance of its competitors. Acceleration was lackluster compared to sportier models from Ford and GM, making the car feel sluggish in everyday driving situations. The handling, though decent for its time, did not offer the excitement and precision that enthusiasts desired, further distancing the Hawk GT from its sporty aspirations. The chrome accents on the 1962 Hawk GT, while intended to enhance its visual appeal, instead contributed to a dated appearance. The large chrome trim grille was characteristic of the era, but appeared overly bulky and lacked the refinement seen in contemporary designs. Chrome trim along the rear added a sense of flair, but failed to disguise the car's outdated profile. The heavy use of chrome throughout the design, particularly around the wheel wells and side trim, felt excessive and clashed with the cleaner aesthetics emerging in the automotive market. The Hawk GT was one of the more distinctive designs of its time, with a silhouette that set it apart from other coupes. Its fastback roofline and bold front-end styling captured the attention of some buyers who appreciated its individuality. The interior of the Hawk GT offered a spacious and comfortable cabin with supportive seating and a driver-focused dashboard. While it may not have had the luxury of higher-end competitors, it provided a pleasant driving environment for everyday use. Buyers had the opportunity to personalize their Hawk GTs with various options, including different upholstery choices and performance upgrades, allowing for a level of customization not always found in mass-produced models. Frequent mechanical issues and poor build quality diminished the car's reputation and made ownership frustrating for many buyers. The once stylish design felt increasingly outdated by 1962, particularly as competitors embraced more modern aesthetics. While the engine provided decent power, the overall performance did not match the sporty image the car aimed to project. The heavy chrome trim, instead of adding to its appeal, made the car look dated and overdone in a market moving toward more streamlined designs. The Hawk GT faced stiff competition from other sporty coupes that offered modern styling and superior performance. Introduced in 1964, the Mustang quickly became the epitome of American performance, offering a blend of style, power, and affordability that the Hawk GT couldn't match. The Camaro's aggressive design and high-performance options captured the attention of the younger demographic, overshadowing the Hawk GT's more subdued presence. With its fastback design and sporty attributes, the Barracuda became another competitor that appealed to buyers looking for performance and style. Despite its shortcomings, the 1962 Studebaker Hawk GT remains a symbol of a bygone era and a testament to Studebaker's unique place in automotive history. The car's distinctive design and features still have a niche following among collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate its individuality, even if it failed to achieve the success that Studebaker had hoped for. Today, the Hawk GT is a rare find and often sought after for restoration, as it represents an interesting chapter in American automotive design during a time of significant change. The 1962 Studebaker Hawk GT exemplifies the challenges faced by a company trying to remain relevant in a rapidly evolving automotive landscape.